boys go bouncy bounce. Look at them go boing, 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 boing. What? We're recording? Crap. Skip to the intro! What's up guys, this is Matsukai from the Matsukai Studios, and welcome to the first Matsukai Studios raid guide. Today I will be talking about Alysrazor 10-man on regular mode. Now this fight, for our composition we had 2 tanks, 3 healers, and 5 DPS, which consisted of 3 ranged and 2 melee. Now when this fight first begins, you would have already wanted to split your team into a air group, which normally is just 1 ranged person up in the air, and your ground group, which consists of your 2 tanks, all your healers, 2 of your best interrupting classes, depending on your composition, a rogue, a DK, a warrior, possibly a mage, or a shaman are awesome for it. But you need 1 interrupter on either side. You can designate 1 healer on either side and have 1 healer kind of run back and forth. For us, we had a resto druid go back and forth because she could move quicker. Now when the fight begins, she will spawn out of the sky, and she'll knock you back to the left. Make sure you want to stack up. There will be some AoE damage going out, and then she will begin to do a ability called molting. Now while she is molting, she'll be dropping feathers on the ground behind her while cleaving everything in front of her. So whatever you do, do not get in front of her. You're going to want your ranged person, possibly a fire mage, a shadow priest, or a warlock are best, to grab 3 feathers first so they can fight in the air, and I'll go over that later. And the remaining feathers, have your healers pick them up first. You want them to have at least 1 each, so healers get them first. After that, doesn't matter. Now, the reason why you have 2 interrupters down on the ground, you want to have 1 on either side, is because a Druid of the Flame will spawn 1 on either side at a time. So there, you're going to want your interrupters to immediately go after them, and whatever other DPS you have, to kill them. And you want your interrupters over there to be able to stop them from casting an ability called Pyroblast. They'll do 3 brush fires followed by a Pyroblast, or Pyroblast, I don't remember. But you want them to interrupt it. It will cause a debuff on the person and do unnecessary damage. After that, if you got some time before the next one spawns, by all means help your tank on the Ferocious Hatchling, which is what I'll go over next. A little bit after the first Druid of the Flame spawns, an egg will drop out of the sky, and 2 eggs, 1 on either side. Your tanks, this is where you come in. You need to be as close to the egg as possible, because when it hatches, it will do an ability called Imprint. It will imprint the closest person to it, and you basically get a 1000% damage increase, so your job is to kill your hatchling. Simple as that. And she'll also do a little ability called Tantrum. After a little bit, it gets angry and it wants to be eaten. Or wants something to eat. Basically, the little birdie's hungry. So your job is to just be near these little worms on the ground. Kind of close to them. Be careful a little bit because they are spewing fire out. And once you're close to it, your bird will automatically go after it and eat it. Healers, make sure that when your tank's bird is having a tantrum, they're going to take a little bit more damage. So make sure that you pay attention to that, and just tanks, use your worms accordingly. Use them for when tantrum comes. And that's pretty much all of phase 1. I will go over right now your ranged person. Pretty much has a very easy job. They're gonna get a huge damage increase, as you see here. What they're going to do is, you see these little fiery rings spawn in the air. You want to fly through them so you stay up in the air at all times while also getting a haste buff. And I think after a certain amount of stacks you get of this, your crit also increases. So why you want a Fire Mage, Shadow Priest, or a Warlock up here? Because, well, as you all know, dots are completely broken on this fight. So if you can down them, recast your dots, you're gonna do a massive amount of damage on this. So that's pretty much all you do. Just make sure you fly through the rings, avoid the smoky little ball clouds. They explode, do damage. You don't want to do that. Don't make your healers angry because they can't reach you up there. Make sure you go through the rings though, because if you miss a couple, you will lose your buff and you will fall down to your doom and probably die if you're not fast enough on your slow fall or levitate, which has happened before to me. So just make sure you just DPS her at all times. When she goes down to molt, just follow her. Go through the ring still. And I usually will call out because I'm the person always up here. Now this is the beginning of phase 2, where your ranged flying people need to get back down to the ground as quickly as possible. And she will cast her spinning tornadoes attack. They're fiery tornadoes that are running around everywhere. It's actually very easy to avoid them now because they're much slower. And especially if you have a feather, you run quicker too. Just basically pick a tornado, follow it, when another one goes by, turn around. Then she will crash down to the ground, DPS, go on her, healers as well, you get mana back if you cast on her. So everybody just basically beat her. Tanks, there will be a Druid of the Flames that spawns. All you need to do, each tank on one, and when they start to channel an ability on Alysrazor, interrupt it as much as possible. Because when she reaches 50 energy, she will come back to life. And that's when your first tank, who's picking her up, stands in front of her, everybody else stands on her back. And the tank, you will take it to about 70% of her energy. And then you're going to want your second tank to come in front, taunt it off, and the other tank runs to the back, so your main tank will take too much damage and die from the cleaves. Make sure that nobody is in front of her unless you're the tank, because you will probably die. After she reaches 100 energy, it's phase 1 all over again. So grab 3 feathers if you're the ranged person, or grab 1 feather if you're a healer, and rinse repeat, and you'll kill her. Good luck, and hope this really helps you guys.